live with Tao. In the natural codes, after millions of years, one becomes enlightenment. Is enlightenment a natural process taking millions of years and lives? If enlightenment is a natural process that after millions of years and millions of lives, one becomes enlightened, maybe time has passed, but it has not happened. You cannot ask why. Suppose you plant a flower plant. Can you ask the flower plant when it will bring flowers and fruits? You cannot ask. The flower grows, the plant grows on its own. It knows when the time is right for new buds to appear. It knows when, and the buds know when the time is ripe for them to blossom into flowers. You cannot ask the nature why. Nobody, if you want to ask why or speed up the process, then you have to provide additional nutrition. You have to take care of the plant in a different manner. There is different kind of fertilizers available in the market. One is called growing salt, the other is bearing salt. So you add during a certain period of the life of the plant growing salt, so the plant grows through your effort, and that fertilizer, the plant will grow. And then what will happen? We are speaking on, is enlightenment a natural process that takes millions of years and lives? Yes. If you allow the nature to take its course, it takes long time. Nobody knows when it will happen. Existence alone knows when the time is right, and the enlightenment, the flower of enlightenment blossoms in you. It is like a flower plant that you have planted. Can you ask the plant or know when the plant will start bringing the flowers? When it will start blossoming? You cannot ask in a natural way. It requires many things. If you want to find out and if you are anxious, then you have to do something. And for doing something, there are different types of fertilizers available. There is a growing salt and there is a bearing salt. So the farmer or the gardener knows in the early life of the plant, uses the growing salt so that the nourishment that is needed for the growth of the plant is provided to it. It is same thing when you are doing the child rearing. There are certain things, certain kind of nutrients, certain kind of foods you have to give the child for the growing. In different stages, different kind of nourishment is to be provided to the child. So in the life of a plant, you have to give the growing salt, and when it is started growing and it has reached a certain level, then the gardener knows the time has come to bear the fruits. So he gives the bearing salt. And with the combination of the two, the blossoming happens. You cannot ask existence why. You cannot ask. You can ask why only if you are doing something. If nature is doing something on its own, you cannot ask why. And it is up to the nature. And nature is not responsible. It is not going to answer you in any way. It is completely silent, just as a plant is silent. You can go on asking the plant, when are you going to bring the flowers? It will not, it has not committed, no commitment to answer you. Nature is not responsible. It is not going to answer. It is completely silent. And for nature, millions of lives or millions of years have nothing to do. For nature, it may be just a few seconds, because they are not, existence or the nature is not aware of the time. The plant is not aware of the time. It is you who are conscious of time, who want to know when it is going to happen. To you, millions of lives and years is a long history. For nature, it is not. The plant does the plant that you have planted is aware of the time that I have been planted. Months have passed and nothing has happened. You are anxious you have to do something. For nature, the time does not matter. Nature is not worried and is not interested in you particularly. Nature goes on working in its own way, and someday it happens. You cannot ask why this rose plant is not bringing out the flowers, why the size of the flower is smaller than the normal. So gardener knows that it requires some extra nourishment. A mother knows what type of nourishment is to be given in harmony with the child specialist. If you are worried about why it has not happened as yet, then you have to do something. If worry has entered you, then you have to do something. Only then your doing will help you to come to the point where enlightenment can happen. Effort. So what did Gautam Buddha did? Gautam, he followed the existing traditions at that time. Everything that was available, the different schools of yoga, different teachings, different masters, and each time when he went, they said, only this much I had known. Beyond this I know nothing, and if you happen to stumble upon something beyond this, you will let me know. So they expressed their inability to take Gautam Buddha beyond what they had known. Everyone has capabilities. When a physician finds that he cannot handle your problem, he sends you to an expert. And before he continues, he asks you to do certain tests. If you are worried about why it has not happened yet, you have to do something. If worry has entered you, you have to do something. Only your doing will help you to come to a point where enlightenment can happen. So Gautam Buddha For 6 years he continued wandering. Then for 6 months he renounced the food, sleep and all that necessities. He lived on a grain of rice for 6 months. He became frail and weak. He could not cross the stony river Niranjana. He fell and he could not get up. However, there was a branch of a tree that was leaning from the other side. He held on to that and remained watching the stars disappear one by one in the sky. With that, the last desire also vanished. And he thought, what is the use? If enlightenment happens now, what am I going to do with it? Somehow he got up and came out of the river, made a bed of leaves and sat on that under the tree. And he said, now he will get up only when he becomes, the enlightenment happens. There is, as far as existence is concerned, as far as nature is concerned, there is no hurry. Because for nature there is no limit to time. There is no beginning, no end. But man has come to a point where he has become conscious and he has started asking. Even the Bodhi tree under which Gautam sat and attained to enlightenment did not ask. The tree will not ask, why have I not become enlightened? The enlightenment for the tree means the blossoming of the tree, bringing out new flowers and fruits, is in a way the way tree attains enlightenment. And for a person, the enlightenment is of a different nature. When his consciousness is transformed, he starts seeing things beyond the duty, beyond the body, all the finite. He enters into a bodiless realm. He begins to see the body, the finite begins to disappear. And then he starts seeing the glimpses of light far beyond, in the yonder in the woods. But it is not within his grasp as yet. The tree will never ask, why have I not become enlightened? Because I have been existing for so many years, millions of years, as you have existed, Gautam. Why? The tree never asks. The tree is absolutely natural and it follows the natural process. It follows each session, the autumn, the spring, the winter, the summer, and prepares itself for each season accordingly. When winter is about to approach, the autumn comes in, the leaves fall, the tree goes into the state of hibernation. And then during the spring, new foliage, new leaves, new buds appear. Tree is absolutely natural. The questioning makes man unnatural. The unnatural has entered in you you have started asking question why it has not happened yet. This questioning is good in a way. It can lead you to a decisive moment that you can start working upon yourself. Why this particular thing has not happened to you? This questioning has entered into you, then you start working over it. It has taken a long time that the flower has not started blossoming as yet. So you ask an expert and he gives you a suggestion what to do. The man cannot leave things to happen naturally because man has become conscious. The moment you are conscious, you cannot allow it to happen naturally. So you ask, you provide the different types of fertilizer to the plant, growing fertilizer, then bearing fertilizer. You cannot leave it to the nature now. That is why man has created religions. No animal who are not aware of time has created any religion. There is no need. They are not asking. They are not in a hurry. They are living in their nature. In nature, everything is unhurried, moving so slowly, as if not moving at all. You see, can you see the growth of a plant? You cannot know. You can see the growth of a child. You see a child today, and 3 months after, you come and you are surprised. Oh, you have become a boy now. You was just the other day when I came, you were moving on your all fours. Now you are standing. You are making a few steps. So, the unnatural has entered in you. You have started questioning why it has not happened yet. And as I said, the questioning is good. It makes you conscious and then you start working about it. That is why the religions came into existence. The process. No animal requires a religion. There is no need. They are not asking and they are not in a hurry. Man has become conscious of time, and the moment you become conscious of time, you are thrown out of eternity. Eternity means eternal, beyond time and space. You are in a hurry. So as man's consciousness evolves more, he is more in a hurry. He becomes more and more conscious. Go to a primitive society. They are not time conscious. The more civilized a society becomes, the more time conscious it becomes. A primitive society is closer to nature, not in a hurry. It moves slowly, just as nature moves, just as plant grows, it moves. The more you become civilized, the more you will be conscious of time. Really, time can be the criteria how civilized is the society. Then you are in a hurry, then you cannot wait, then you cannot leave it to the nature to happen on its own. And you say, we have to do something. We cannot leave things in the hands at the mercy of nature or God. You have to take it in your own hands. And man can take it in his own hands. He has to do something, and the process can be finished sooner. Because when you start making your effort and you are conscious, that up to now it has not happened. I did all that was humanly possible. Buddha did all that was humanly possible, but nothing happened. So he moved from those ancient techniques that were existing at that time. He decided to fast, and he remained on a grain of rice for 6 months. In the process, the body became frail and weak. But through his doing, in the beginning you have to make an effort, but the things happen when your effort reaches the state of effortlessness. You start your vehicle, it is an effort. You sit down, you close your door, you arrange your seat, your review mirror, and all other things. And then you start the car. It is an effort. But after some time, it goes into auto. So you have changed your gear to auto gear. Now you don't have to change the gear. All you have to create the balance between steering and the accelerator. So everything begins with an effort. And after some time, the effort becomes redundant and it becomes effortless. No, this is the way things happen in life. Whatsoever you are doing, you are making love, it starts with effort and it must end in a state of effortlessness. Effort is in your hand. What happening is not in your hand. That is beyond your efforts. And that is where the effortlessness comes in place. It is a combination of effort and effortlessness, two states. You have done all that was necessary for plant to grow. You have provided the fertilizer, you have provided the water, the proper ventilation. That was necessary, and that is all you can do. And then wait for the right time when the flower will blossom, when the new buds will appear, new foliage, and the plant will start bearing first the buds, and buds will open. This will happen naturally. The man can take things in his own hands. He can do something, and the process can finish then sooner. It can even be finished in a single moment if you are ready. All that millions of years have not done, have not been able to do anything, you can do in a single moment if you are available. In that single moment, you become so intense that millions of years and millions of lives are traveled simultaneously. Gautam did all the efforts that was humanly possible. He sat under the Bodhi tree. He was relaxed. And it happened on its own. Your effort is necessary, but whatever has to happen will happen as a grace. When your effort reaches to the point when you cannot do anything else, whatever was humanly possible you have done, then as a grace, enlightenment happens, awakening dawns. the blissful existence happens as a grace. So Lalaji says, whatsoever I have gained in life, it is because of grace. But that did not mean, or you should not take it for granted, that he did not do any effort. Every possible effort that was humanly possible for him, he did. But he attributes it to grace, grace of the Master. That is possible. Because it is possible, you are worried. Your worry is a symptom that something which is possible you are not taking natural. That is the worry. That is the human dilemma that everybody has to go through. Buddha went through it. You can do it and you are doing it. That creates inner worry, anguish. When you cannot do it, the question never arises. There is no worry. The worry shows that it is possible now that you can, and because of the worry, you are making an effort. Then you can jump many lives which have been unnecessary. You can just bypass many moments. And that is why it is quantum leap. So, enlightenment comes as a quantum leap. It is like putting the water to boil. You put the water in a pot, put it on the fire. As the heat, the effort intensifies. First, slowly and slowly the process begins. The molecules of the water getting hot below where the temperature is higher. It moves in a cyclical form. It reaches on top, and the molecules of water that are still cold, they form an elliptical path. And then when all the molecules of water have reached a certain temperature, all of a sudden, like a quantum leap, water begins to boil. Buddha did all that effort, all that as austerities that was humanly possible. And then he is now waiting. And whatever happened to him, it is much bigger and greater than all the efforts he put together. You can do it and you are doing it. That creates an inner anguish. And when you cannot do it, there is no question of worry arises. The worry shows that it is possible now that you can take a jump. That is a quantum leap. Many lives which are unnecessary, you can bypass in a single moment. And that is not bypassing. You have become conscious and you have come beyond nature. Consciousness is a new phenomenon. You have come beyond nature. Now you can consciously evolve. Now you can consciously evolve. Conscious evolution is nothing but revolution. You can do something about it. You are not just a victim, not just a puppet. You can take your destiny in your own hands. That is possible. And because it is possible, you are not doing anything. It creates inner anxiety. And the more you become aware that this is possible, the more anxiety will be left. A Buddha is very worried. You are not worried. Buddha is very worried. He is in deep anguish, suffering. Unless he attains, he would live in hell. And that is the anguish. You want it to happen, but it is not happening. Then all of a sudden you stumble upon it. Because he was perfectly aware that something was absolutely possible, it was just in his hand, just by the corner, and he felt, still I am missing it. Many times it happens. You are going somewhere, want to meet the master, but each time you miss it. So a poet, a kawal, sings that I have set my foot to go and meet the master. But unless it is the grace of the master, I will not be able to meet him. So he sings two parts. Firstly, I have started my efforts. I have set out of my house. If you do not set off your house, you do not start journeying towards that place where you are going to meet the master, you cannot meet him. And your effort is not enough. When your effort is combined with grace, that whatsoever will happen, it will happen because of the grace, then the meeting is possible. The effort and the point where effort and effortlessness meet one another, transcendence happens. Quantum leaps happens that way. So the kawal is singing, I have set my foot to go. This is in my hand. But meeting him or not is not in my hands. But if I do not make an effort to come out of my house, come out of my stark immodesty, I will not be able to reach to that place any in time. But whatever will happen, it will happen as a grace. So he goes and he prays that I wish I am able to meet him. My effort alone is not enough. The moment effort and effortlessness overlap, effort reaches to the state of effortlessness. Like a quantum leap it happens, enlightenment happens, awakening happens. Whatsoever you are doing, enough for now.